The biggest loss on Gilmore Girls didn't happen while we were shooting the show. It happened 10 years ago today, December 31st, 2014. I've shared this story before, but I got a few updates and I'm going to add another story or two. All of Ed's kids got together over the holidays and Emma, his youngest daughter, stayed with me for a night. We had ice cream and she raved about it. And of course, Ryan, his oldest daughter, came for a visit the other day and she reminded me that December 31st, it's 10 years. It's like so much time has flown by. I'm so grateful that I've kept in touch with them. I got to meet all his grandkids and share with them a few stories from behind the scenes. I'm going to share with you a very personal story. 8 years ago, Brenda, the costume designer for Gilmore Girls, calls me on the phone. Are you sitting down? I was. Colin and I were driving back from Chicago to LA for New Year. Now, anytime someone says, are you sitting down? It's not good. I started freaking out because I had no idea what she was going to tell me. It's not doing good. Kelly just went to say her goodbyes. She kissed her TV husband on the cheek and told him that it was okay to go and that their Gilmore Girl family loved him. I was in shock. A month before, I had sent him an email about our Thanksgiving potluck, and this is what he wrote back. Hey guys, sounds like a grand time will be had by all. Alas, I will not be in the neighborhood. We'll have a house full of family here in Connecticut for turkey and all the trimmings. Bless your hearts. Ed H. My first memory of Ed. We're shooting in the Gilmore mansion. They were between shots, and I overhear Ed and Kelly talking about old-time radio. Think, Suspense, Lone Ranger, Jack Benny. So I tell him my fiancé is an old-time radio buff, and he probably knows the answer to that question that they had about that show. That was the start of their friendship. A few months later, we have a party at our house, and Ed comes. He goes into Colin's side of the duplex, and he sees this American Flyer train on a shelf. I had this train when I was a little boy. Colin says, take it, it's yours, it's just collecting dust. That sealed the deal. From that point forward, they were like this. Anytime Ed was in the neighborhood, he would just stop by. There was this other time we were on set, and he says, Valerie, I know Colin's a collector, but what about you? What would you collect? Pianos. So that weekend, he takes us to the Nethercut collection. Just look it up. It is amazing. During hiatus, we were on our way to Chicago, and he says, why don't you come to Mackinac? We'll meet up. So we stayed at his cottage for like a couple days. It was so much fun. Then we took him to LA Live steamers, and we all rode the train like little kids. But my favorite memory of Ed is he would send us these postcards. And his writing is abhorrent. It would take us a week to decipher whatever was written on them. His handwriting sucked. Ed was so dear to us. When I wrote my ice cream cookbook, I knew I needed to share the story of Ed and his friendship with Colin. So I asked his daughter, Ryan, she was in the Bridesmaid episode, right? What her dad's favorite flavor was. And she said, Pops loved anything with chocolate and ginger. Rest in peace, Ed. You will not be forgotten because I got a lot more stories to share about you. I met Ryan when she was on the show, and Ed was such a proud dad he came to be on set with her. And Emma, his youngest, I met when she was just a little kid. She was 8 years old. She came to visit the set when Ed was working on a scene in the Gilmore mansion. The day before, I think they had gone to Disneyland, so she was singing a very specific song. If you know, you know. Over and over and over, and Ed was getting quite annoyed. And I had an idea. I had this little Sony Clie. It was kind of like a little Palm Pilot, and you could record on this device. So I said to Emma, Emma, can you sing this song? And I'll record it so I can play it back for your dad. She knew what I was going to do with that recording. Whenever I saw Ed and he was least expecting it, I'd play the voice of his angelic little 8-year-old daughter singing, It's a Small World. And then he would curse at me.